Another night, another dream, but always new. It's like a vision of love that seems to be true. Another night, another dream, but always new. In the night, I dream of love so true. Another night, another dream, but always new. It's like a vision of love that seems to be true. Another night, another dream, but always new. In the night, I dream of love so true. In the night, in my dreams, I'm in love with you. Have you talked to me like the first? I feel joy, I feel pain, I feel the same. When the night is long, I'll be alone.
DJ Sequence.
In the night, in my dreams, I'm in love with you. As you talk to me like the first do. I feel joy, I feel pain, 'cause it's still the same. When the night is gone, I'll be alone. Another night, another dream, but always new. It's like a vision of love that seems to be true. Another night, another dream, but always new. In the night, I dream of love so true. Another night, another dream, but always new. It's like a vision of love that seems to be true. Another night, another dream, but always new. In the night, I dream of love so true. In the night, in my dreams, I'm in love with you. Have you talked to me like the first? I feel joy, I feel pain, 'cause it's still the same. When the night is long, I'll be alone.
Look around and see the beauty of the sky. Here for you and me, a wonderful life. Look around and see the beauty of the sky. Here for you and me, a wonderful life. No need to run and hide. It's so wonderful, wonderful life. No need to laugh and cry. It's a wonderful, wonderful life. Here I go, out to sea again. The sunshine fills my hair. Dreams hang in the air. Gold in the sky and in my blue eyes. You know it feels unfair. There's magic everywhere. No need to run and cry. It's so wonderful, wonderful life. No need to laugh and cry. here for you and me, a wonderful life. Look around and see the beauty of the sky. Here for you and me.
Right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How's everyone doing? Are we winning? Are we living the dreamios? What's going on in the market, boys and girls? Let me just sort this little thing out. Time to long? Good question, brother or sister. Right, let me just do this. Okay. So, I mean, Bitcoin is okay, right? It doesn't look too bad. But we're in a really strong downtrend, right? And I just think everything looks pretty brutal. Like, yeah. It's really savage. Give me 1 minute. Sorry, I might have started this 2 minutes too early. Okay, right, let's rock and roll. So, basically, we've got a lot going on in the market. Everything's dying. We're getting a couple of pumps on memes, and it's relatively interesting. No sound? No, it was me, mate. Sorry, it was me. Yeah, I started ever so slightly early. But yeah, we go for it now. Yeah, it's just not looking great. Like, for me, we're in a massive downtrend, right? And I've been cautious ever since up here. I've preached about it for a long time that we're only in and out of the market like cheap poker strategy. And realistically, there's just no reason to change that yet, right? Bitcoin's treated like Spotify, other software stocks by Wall Street, nothing we can do. Kind of. I mean, it's really not been performing particularly well, given that, US 100 is actually starting to rip a little bit. We've got SPX doing the same. We're starting to actually see that, these like downside charts that I posted on Twitter, actually maybe they're not going to come to fruition. It's all very mixed emotionally on Twitter about the AI, going to be the doom of our time and blah, blah, blah. It's going to effectively kill all GDP everywhere, which I think is bollocks. But equally, I don't think it's going to be the biggest revolution that everyone sort of thinks and says it is, in the sense of, it's years away. I can't even get Grok to do like basic tasks for me, let alone people trusting it to essentially run a business for them, right? I think that's going to be pretty wild. But anyway, let's talk about what we can actually action and what we can actually do. But before we do that, let's shout out to Breakout Prop for sponsoring the stream. If you want to trade with someone else's money, use code Charlie. Off you go. We've actually had payouts of like 175k, I think, so far from people who have signed up using that link, which is a pretty cool stat to know, to be honest. It really kind of gives me a bit of a bit of interest in terms of like, how do I put it? That people following me and using that stuff can actually trade, which is great. Because in a weird way, I feel like I've preached something and people have learned, even if, you know, it's not just as a result of me, like obviously most people follow a multitude of people, but I'd like to think that I've been pretty much preaching like being risk off in general and playing the old altcoin pump here and there. You know, like that is redonkulous. I didn't actually take this trade, but if I did, you know, that would have been very good. Yeah, it's just really, really tough to trade at the minute. So that's why I'm sitting out for most of it. And, you know, I'm sat in my shorts on Bitcoin from like 88 or whatever it was, somewhere 89, somewhere up here. And there's just no real reason to kind of jump in and close them yet. So the way that I'm looking at it is very much, this is a range, this is a series of lower highs, and, you know, unless we can actually change this and we can reclaim and we can start moving up. So here's like the where I'm interested. There's just no point in being aggressively long in this market. You know, it's just so difficult in terms of trying to justify a long when pretty much every lower high has been a short opportunity. But equally for me, you know, I'm still short from up here. It's very difficult to justify a continuation short down here when we're kind of testing these lows. And actually, you know, for me, it's like, do we really want to be aggressive on the short side after a 50% drop from, you know, the highs up here? And the answer for me is not really, right? I obviously I could be quite aggressive on the short side, but I do think that we get that reclaim. I do think we push up to 71, 72s. And if we push out here, that's going to be the major risk on rotation on alts. And obviously we need to check this spaghetti and see what's going on. And like from this objective rotation here, we can see that it's not been that great, right? There's been a few outliers, Pippin, BCH, Beer and Sheng and all this stuff, but they're just a bit meh. So really, like, the effort of trading this versus the reward to me is just far too low. So, you know, for me, it's really all just about this Bitcoin reclaim. I don't know how else I'm supposed to like judge this stream up, to be honest, because there's not too much else to say. I've been very, you know, risk off in general, and yeah, I don't really know like how else we can judge it up. And then when you start looking at like ETH looks like shit, and it's essentially the same thing, but like even weaker than Bitcoin. When you start looking at most alts, there's a couple that look okay, like XMR, so Monero, but it's nothing to be excited about, right? Really nothing to be excited about. But yeah. Have you guys got any questions or anything you want to kind of go over? Any thoughts you've got? Thoughts about the market? Thoughts about life? Thoughts about everything? Thinking about betting this H4 SFP on Bitcoin? I mean, this is the thing for me, right? Is that there's no like arbitrary level at which I'm buying at. And the way that I'm thinking about the market in general is, you know, it needs to show me some strength before I can kind of get excited about stuff, yeah? Simple as that. Like, and I don't think that that's a bad way of doing it. Obviously I don't, because that's what I'm doing. But like when you start thinking about the market in general and you start looking at like how everybody is like, I'm going to buy the bottom, it just makes me so like, it's not been wiped out enough. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that it will be, and that is a good reason to have, further downside. It's absolutely the worst reason to have further downside because people are bearish, or sorry, people are too bullish. And, I think therefore, that is like the most retarded way of thinking about things. But equally, hello. Hello? Oh, okay. I thought it was lagging out, disconnected or something, but maybe not. Yeah. I want to buy strength. I don't want to buy weakness, and I'm always about that, right? That is like the huge part of my general strategy is buying strength. It's buying strength in altcoins, buying strength in Bitcoin, buying changes in structure that mean essentially, we lags a bit. Don't know if it's from me. No, it's fine. Yeah, it might be. I think it was me. I think it was me that was lagging, because it seems fine now. One sec, guys. Okay, sorry. Stuff go on and yeah, it's just I don't want a long weakness. It's really simple in the general market, right? And there's not much that's standing out to me as a narrative. Even like all the Zach stuff coming out, like potentially about hype or whoever it is. No one actually knows. Like everyone's just playing games at the minute in terms of like trying to guess. And obviously there's stuff that people are betting on, people are gambling on it. Do I see USDT dominance? Yeah, kind of. I mean, I don't really look at it, right? Because all I use is this and spaghetti. Really, that's all you really need to say. Well, are alts in control or not? Market cap, USDT dominance. It's pretty strong, but it's not exactly like something we didn't know, right? Like since October the 10th, everything's died. Well done. Are we going to trade this on like a meme level and be like, well, that must be a bottom because it's hit a top? It's hit a local top in terms of PA. I don't think so. Like, I'm not going to trade it like that. I'm just going to wait for strength to return on this and strength to return in terms of the actual Bitcoin chart itself, right? That's it. And it's not a bad place for us to bounce from a high time frame perspective, right? Like, I genuinely think that if we're going to bounce anywhere, this isn't a terrible place. Previous all-time highs, way back here in terms of this range and those range highs, it's a pretty good place. Pippin short, I mean, you are welcome to try and short one of the strongest assets out there, right? For me, it's one of those things where actually, do I really want to short like what has been one of the strongest, most supply bundled pieces of shit on the planet? I did short it here, right? And I closed it about here. So I actually closed it, slightly before. But or Up 77%. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Like, so I talked about this as a continuation along, and I'm terrible at continuation alongs because I missed this breakout here, which I said this is where I'd like to trade it, right, in these breakouts and consolidations. That's where I would have longed it, but I was too late. I woke up at 7:30, so it was too late. Done. And then this was like the trade, continuation trade thought process, and I just didn't do it because I'm lazy, and I can't really be bothered to trade these conditions, to be blunt. Everyone looks at trading. It says, wow, you can wake up and you can just make thousands of dollars. It's like, yeah, you can also lose thousands of dollars. Do you know what I mean? And you also get to the point where you go, well, is it really EV for me to sit and trade all day? And the answer is no, not in these conditions. You don't have to trade. Missed the stream by 20 minutes. Yeah, I didn't announce it very well, to be blunt. But also, I haven't really covered much because there's not really much to cover. Right. Hello and good evening. Yeah, I know. It's just a boring time, right? There's not much going on. And I can sit here and I can say like where I'm gonna buy and what I'm gonna do and all this kind of stuff, but realistically, trading this at the minute is just painful. In terms of there's not too much to trade. Like my spaghetti way of doing things is just not conducive to these conditions particularly, right? So yeah. I don't really like sunk charts. No, I want to get into stonk charts, but equally I feel like a lot of that's quite overextended as well. But I could be wrong. Let's go gold and silver. Yeah, I mean, gold and silver have had really decent rallies, right? And, I would advocate to people to trade these conditions with small size on the basis of if you're not used to trading, you'll find out a lot about yourself, right? And then when things get easier, you will notice it, right? You will completely notice how easy it is in different conditions. Yeah? But right now, it's just not worth it from an altcoin rotation perspective. I mean, this looks like. Does anyone want to say what this looks like? Anyone guess what I'm gonna say? Anyone want to guess? Bearish retest and puke, parabolic super rally. It's kind of both. Yeah, this is one of my favorite setups in terms of parabolic run, lower high, and then die. Does it mean I'm going to short it here? Nah, probably not. But generally, what my thinking in this is if we can't breach that high, then it is going back massively, right? Now, how that works overall and how that works in line with like the rest of the market and so on and so forth, it's going to be beyond my level of intellect to compute, really. But yeah, I love this kind of setup. I've played this setup a lot. I'd prefer it if it was like starting to go down the other way. And then you've got a really clean invalidation. And you're also at the start of like a trend. But yeah. How can I access the spag indicator and make it work in my charts? You literally just copy the link, mate. It's literally this link. No, I'll stick it in the chat for you. Let's have a look. You might hear me for a second. There you go. Wouldn't it be better to short the top of gold then? Yeah, maybe. Like, I'm not going to go for it because I think it's super aggressive and go for that rather. But for general setups, that's what I like. I'm just playing it quite chill at the minute. I'm like largely cash. I got some bitcoins, which have obviously got annihilated pretty much, more than offset by my shorts. But it's hard to see how Bitcoin kind of comes back from this, which I know is like every cycle and all this kind of stuff. You know, it's been absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal in terms of sell-off. Why short an uptrend? It's not a shitcoin. That's true. Do you want to be the guy that jumps in front of a train as it crosses? Yeah, I mean, that's why I typically, as it does this, I get in there. Right? Not as it's going up, because I don't know if it's going to just go up like that. If it's going to do this and go over, in which case that's where you jump in. But when you are looking at, gold, let's go back to it. It's a bit early. You did short the gold rejection earlier. Yeah, nice. The reality of this as well is you've had this breakout, and now if it comes back in and reaccepts, you're probably going to come down to at least here, if not here, right? Just in terms of like, if this was a 5-minute chart, that's what you'd be thinking. Netted 5%, that's still good, mate. 5% is better than, my ISA is probably going to give me back. Yeah. Silver. See, this is like meant to be a crypto stream, and we're talking about TradFi assets. That's how piss poor the market is. Like we talked about this downtrend, it's run up. Again, similar to gold, broken out of its form of consolidation. Not really much to do here, I don't think. Got no sure idea for when it breaks. Yeah, I mean, this is like, do we short it all? Do we send it all to zero? Like, I can't really be bothered to short stuff at the lows. I've been calling out Altcoin going to like a cent for so long. And now it's like absolutely dead in the water. It's great. But what else have we got? That's just fuck all, really. There's some nice things like Jelly kind of going. But yeah, realistically, it's just psh. Do I really want to be like trying to play this dramatically? Not really. Weak market. What are you guys looking at? Like, what trades do you guys want to jump in? A relief rally would be nice. Yeah, no, I agree. A relief rally would be really nice. Like, I think that's what a lot of people are kind of hoping for, just in the sense of we quote unquote should get some sort of relief, yeah? But Hype. Is that what you're looking at? We're looking at buying, is it hype? Yeah, I mean, let's do hype. How big is your hype bag, brother? How underwater are you? I'm joking, obviously. Let's go to hype. I mean, hype's had a pretty big sell-off in terms of, local price action, but realistically, this is one of the coins that I kind of want to own, right? Like, if you want a bag of this is a pretty nice place just to like buy some spot. Do you know what I mean? It's probably not going to end too badly in the long run if you're super bullish on hype and they keep accruing value to their tokenomics, yeah? But I'm just not in the mood to start buying stuff randomly, if that makes sense. Like, again, I want to see some strength. Like, this is not a strong looking chart. This is a strong sell off, you know? It's all just, yeah, tough to justify entering fresh positions. Let's do Sol. I mean, a lot of it's just the same chart, man, again and again and again. Like, look at it. Like, for me, Solana is just in no man's land from a high time frame perspective. Like, this was the best place to potentially, hold up here around this kind of 80 area to 88. But we just didn't. We just kind of just blasted through, and it's really not looking good. Like, I don't see a reason for Sol to rally. I don't see a reason for ETH to rally. Without Bitcoin doing its thing, all of this stuff's just going to go straight into the gutter. But yeah. I think hype at $10 to $3, depending on how brutal the bear market is. Yeah, I think hype is going to be one of those coins that survives the bear market in terms of it'll have another cycle and it'll probably give another like 3, 4, 5x opportunity, which is great. I'm certainly looking to buy a bag myself, but realistically, like a lot of people have this notion that I'll buy it here because it's cheap. And it's like, it's in a downtrend and it's cheap compared to what it was when we were, everyone was super bullish on crypto as a whole. And Bitcoin was in an uptrend and all of the grifters were out. The president, for example, of the US was out grifting everybody and trying to push shitcoins on everybody. Like, that to me is like a super different environment than what we find ourselves in now, right? I wonder if Light has a chance, maybe not. Yeah, maybe. I mean, Lighter is sort of similar. I haven't traded Lighter at all, but it's the same kind of narrative, isn't it? And maybe it has a run, but yeah, I don't know. What will tell you though is the old spaghetti. So when you start looking at spaghetti, you go, well, I've got a theory that Lighter is going to be strong, going to be good. You whack it on here, and then if it is good, it will be on there, and you'll see it, and then everyone will go, okay, let's buy Lighter. Off we go. I wonder if historically there was never a meta that didn't have a second mover that succeeded. Yeah, I mean, it's good beta, and in olden times, like in the 2020, 2021 cycle, there was a lot of leading lagging kind of behavior, right? So if BNB, if Binance had an announcement, right, and BNB started running, you could bet all the other, FTT, etc., would start moving, and the OKX token would move after that, and then there was a nice little rotation. But now everyone's very sophisticated. They trade the baskets. It's all very, very like algorithmic in terms of execution, rather than just some dickhead sat at a computer going, "Oh yeah, I think I'll buy some BNB because this one's strong." Do you know what I mean? Like it's a completely different market. And it's a very diluted market as well in terms of how much how many altcoins there actually are out there. Spaghetti tracking inflows, just volatility, just volatility. So this is this right here is the price change since this point in time, right? So there. So Pippin has gone up 2.7%. It tells you that it's a very good, strong coin to trade, etc., etc. Now, if I zoom out, it's since this point, so it's now 2.59%. If I change it again, it's now since this point, and so on and so forth. So yeah, there we go, again and again and again. Does that make sense? And what it does is, like, I might have a rotational theory on Pippin. I'm like, all right, I want to trade some Pippin. So let's go. Let's start a Pippin trade on stream. Let's do it, because actually it does look pretty fucking good. I'm not gonna lie. Let's go like that. Yeah, here you go. Pippin is one of the strongest coins out there. Off you go. Go something like this. Bosh. You know, that is like literally the Pippin trade. And what we've got to support this is the fact that it's been very, very strong. Now we really want to see that kind of strength continue. And if it does, it should give us that breakout that we've just marked out. And if not, then it won't. It's going to do this, which is good because I was just getting my phone to log into Bybit. So I've completely missed that. Purely by the fact that my Bybit has randomly logged me out. It shows you how little I'm trading at the minute, I think. How do you determine the TP targets? You always kind of throw in the air. Yeah, so this is just, I assume it's going to take former highs, right? And like when it has a big spike, but a breakout, it's pretty insane. And, I don't want to, like, where am I going to trade it to? Here? Well, I'm not going to take that trade, am I? Where am I going to trade it to? This high? Maybe. This high is certainly much more attractive and where I would be genuinely looking at, like, potential take profits, yeah? Because it is essentially last candle close and so on, and that's kind of an inefficiency. But realistically, we want to try and swing something like this. But that was... Yeah, I actually got saved by the bell there. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, boys and girls, it might be a relatively quick one tonight. Use trend following strategies, so you should don't define my reward. Yeah, so I define... It's a really good point, but I define my reward, my risk reward. So obviously you define your risk because you have to have somewhere where you're wrong. But my reward has to be interesting because if, we're talking about longing it down here, that's a very different trade to longing it here, because, your first target is this range high up here, yeah? Like, and that makes it very, very different. So you're targeting that, and when you start going like this and you start thinking about it as like essentially a 1 hour trade, almost always you're going to say, well, I don't really want to do that then. And that, to me, changes the trade massively. And it's not necessarily about being right in terms of it, like, hitting your TP exactly, right? It's never going to happen. It's rarely going to play out like that in terms of, yeah, hit my TP to the absolute penny. And what I do a lot of is I will take profit much earlier. I will close a lot earlier. I will also hold for a lot longer if we haven't lost trends. So if we haven't actually lost any trend, then why am I taking profit where my arbitrary TP is, right? If my thesis on the trade is essentially it's going to go up and it's going to break out and it's going to, like, do something like this, why would I suddenly take profit, like, at this arbitrary level if there's no loss of strength? If there's no loss of strength, then fuck it, I'll keep going. Happy days. But yeah, hopefully that makes a lot of sense to a lot of people, right? And obviously shout if it doesn't. How much TA do I do per trade? Not loads of TA. Like, I'm not, super TA heavy. I'm much less about TA than I am about, I'm not like one of these people that goes, okay, well, there's an FVG here and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that as a result of it. Like, I use TA, I guess, in every trade, but I don't have a really, like, how do I put it? A really systematic TA like based trading system unless you consider this TA, right? Which I do. I think it is still technical analysis of a market in the sense of we have to have something to kind of say, okay, the alt that you are playing is strong and good. And for me, that's spaghetti. That gives me the confidence to long the coin that I'm going for. And then the TA, quote unquote, is just where am I wrong on the trade? Where should I be getting out of this trade? Where is my invalidation? Where am I completely wrong on this idea? Like, it's here. Why is it here? Well, because your thesis is, it's a breakout of a range low, it's a rotation, it's whatever it is, yeah? Like, your thesis can change. Like here, when we did it a second ago, thesis was lots of higher lows, running up to a key level in terms of pivotal, range, right? This like 816 level, and as that changed, as we got there, and as it started selling off, you go, well, I'm wrong here. So that's the kind of technical stop on this. But equally, we didn't really have the relative strength, and obviously I was faffing around trying to do thingy. TA doesn't exist. Yeah, kind of. I think TA comes down to like, people draw magic levels on things, and to me, it's not about a magic level. To me, it's about your reaction to that level. Like, it's about the reaction. This here is a great example. Price's reaction to that level was to instantly sell off in a very hard and fast way. And because of that, that completely changes my bias. And because we've now got relative weakness on Pippin, it's nowhere to be seen in the highs up here. That whole trade thesis is just done. The boxes and lines of drawn charts don't exist. They only mean something to you, no one else. Yeah, exactly. But what you're trying to do, the way I think of it is like this. You're painting a story, right? In your mind, and you're drawing out a plan of action. So whenever I do this, whenever I go, okay, here's this, actually no, I'll stick to this. I'm saying I expect the buyers to continually step in and price will ultimately just go up and explode up. And then I expect that because these highs are all going to get taken, that we are going to run up to these highs and then maybe even take these highs with a big sweep, and then that's it. That's the trade. Yeah, so that's my story. That's my little bedtime story that I'm telling myself. And what actually happens is we completely reject here, we get stopped out, and it's GG. Now, if I want to take the same trade again here, I actually can. Really not a problem. Or if I want to take it here because suddenly there's some relative strength, because I can see Pippins on here, for example, then great. Of course I can. But realistically, But yeah, I don't really think there's too much more to add on the market at the minute. Just wait for confirmation of a change in direction. Wait for some relative strength. Wait for some range reclaims. And just go. Can you review one of your city trades? Yeah, of course. Go for it, mate. Did I ever trade with I've traded with loads of different systems. Loads of them. Loads of them. And it's just, you've got to find something that suits you. and suits your mindset and suits your attention span and suits everything. And for me, the combination of high time frame trading, like 4-hour daily charts, plus some rotational trades on altcoins is what works for me, right? I haven't got a massively good attention span, as you can probably tell. And once I'm kind of in a trade, I almost want to see it play out quite quickly. Now, that might mean that, you know, I chop and change my position a little bit too much because I sort of start seeing a bit of weakness and I sell. You know, we lose the trend, I sell, and then it does this and then it goes again. But okay, so on Axie on the 20th. On the 20th. Yeah, but I mean, that's fine. Like, you had a thesis, you had a trade, like, thesis, probably something like this, as it broke out of this triangle, I'm guessing, and just didn't work out, you know? Is what it is. It was up 6% on spaghetti at the time. Yeah, I mean, that's a good rotational trade. The difficult thing about these is you always want to swing for the highs, but then you end up giving, you either end up completely round tripping it, or you end up like basically breaking even because you don't ever take profit. So that's why I use like some EMAs just to kind of, if I lose said EMAs, then, you know, particularly low time frame, then I'll take profit on it. Round trip 1%. Yeah, I think that's the thing, is it's very easy to do. And I don't think you can beat yourself up over it either, right? Because realistically, like, these markets are pretty tough to trade, as I keep saying. And yeah, I can make money out of it if I want to, but I just can't really be bothered. And the rotations, you know, you're aiming for a couple of percentage points. You're not aiming for 10% in these conditions. Yeah, that might change. Over time, but realistically, I don't see any reason why it would change, you know, in the short term. Until Bitcoin starts reclaiming levels. Does that make sense? But yeah, I mean, these are conditions where you train, you build up the reps. You don't necessarily go in with balls deep size every time. You know, you're looking to survive here. You're looking to practice a few reps to get them in. You're not really doing the, I want to swing for the fucking heels, right? But obviously every trade that you take is going to be the one that makes you, yeah. But no, I mean, reasonably, everyone's going to kind of get a bit bored, and you're going to get time capitulation coming soon, I think. I think that's going to be soon. I think that's when we start getting the real boredom on CT. BCH trade, oof. Love a bit of BCH, me, mate. Nah, it's all just fucked. Like I said, the only thing to trade, I think, is whatever is on this, whatever's on spaghetti, and Bitcoin, essentially. That's it. Roger Ver, dumping on us. I mean, look what's pumping now, mate. Fucking Trump. What? What universe are we in? You couldn't pay me enough money on this planet to long Trump. You could not. BCH was a spaghetti leader. Yeah, it was actually. It did have a decent bit of strength to it. But yeah, thank you all for being here, guys. I'm going to schedule next week's stream a bit better, so a bit kind of up before. But thank you in advance to anybody who signed up on Breakout Prop and is using my code. Really, really thankful. But yeah, I will love you and leave you all, and catch you next week. Au revoir.